How do you do? This is Chris with Happy Trees. Welcome to the Westminster Botanic Gardens and the world headquarters of Happy Trees. Today I want to talk to you about juniper trees, what they are, why I love them, and most of all, how to maintain them. And if you learn how to maintain them, I'm sure you'll come to love juniper trees too. Now, when I push people into juniper, a lot of times I get an adverse reaction like, oh, I hate junipers, and I get it. They're probably thinking about the Fitzer junipers that your grandma had in front of her house, and they would grow 10 feet over the windows, and she'd ask you to go out and trim them down in the summertime, and you'd go out with the loppers and knock them down, and your hands would get all cut up because they're really pokey and sticky, and then they're astringent. They'll give you a little bit of a rash, and your hair is probably full of spiders, but that's not what we're talking about. Botanists and plant propagators and nurseries, they've been crossbreeding and hybridizing these plants, and now we have some very refined varieties. You can get nice green ones, you can get a deep blue one like Moonglow and Wichita Blue Juniper, or green like Spearmint or Spartan, or this guy right here. This is a Troutman juniper. You can see it's really thin, got a great kind of a cypress texture to it. In fact, we should call them cypress, we would sell more. But what a cool little plant. We've got it as a focal point in this little planter bed here. It's right by my front entry. There's some Christmas lights around it in the wintertime. What could be better? I have a hard time thinking anyone could look at this and say, oh, I hate juniper, but this is what we're talking about. One of the skinniest plants in the juniper family, of course, and then really one of the skinniest plants we have in the landscape. Properties are getting smaller and smaller. If you have the corner of a home or you're trying to screen between houses, this might just be the pick for you. If you're looking for one of these, I know who's got them. Give me a call. I'll give you a quote. We're going to go look at some other stuff, and we're going to learn how to maintain. Follow me, and we'll check out the rest of the garden. Now, this is a little bit of an aside, but I did want to show you this. This is a DeGroote's Aspire Arborvitae, and in my opinion, Arborvitae should not be sold in Colorado. They don't like our dry air. They don't like our wild 50-degree temperature swings. But this one I got at a big box store on clearance. I think I paid 25 bucks for it, and that was about my tolerance of threshold for risk, because it does have a high risk. It's not going to come back through the winter. But this one's doing really well. I pamper it. I give it lots of water. It's in a good spot, gets lots of shade. But we get a lot of requests for these. I don't feature them on my website. I will plant them, but I will not guarantee them. And I confess, I've made a small fortune ripping out dead Arborvitae plants and replacing them with upright juniper. Having said that, my neighbor over here has what I think is a green giant Arborvitae. It's been doing great for years, but it is on the north side of the house. It stays in the shade most of the day, and I think that contributes to why it's doing so well. So if you're in downtown Denver and you got a protected spot, maybe that would work for you. But if you're in Park or Castle Rock out in Candelas, forget it. Upright juniper is what you want. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Come with me. All right, now this is what I'm talking about. This is a Woodward juniper. It's in the Chinese juniper family. By the way, the nice thing about these juniper, and the reason I love them so much, is because they're pretty much bomb-proof. They're native to Colorado. They live here. Most of the juniper varieties that we see in the garden centers, they're hybridized versions of our own Rocky Mountain juniper. You can see those next time you go to a concert at Red Rocks. Most of those trees hanging around in that very rugged, beautiful landscape are Rocky Mountain juniper trees. They're native to Colorado. When I go hiking in the Front Range, I see these all up and down the Front Range, sometimes up to tree line, mostly at lower elevations, but always where it's hot and dry on that south-facing slope. And those grow even out in the deserts of Moab. You'll see them growing out of a vertical sandstone cliff with no soil and no water. Somehow they're able to survive, and so they're super rugged, hard to kill. Just don't overwater them, and that's all you need to know. But look at the texture on this. They've got these little berries. I just think these things are so cool. They'll get about 6 to 8 feet wide, 15 to 20 feet tall. I kind of back up to open space here. There's a trail behind me, and people like to poke into the yard. So, you know, I like a little privacy. If you can't pee in your own backyard, you might as well live in an apartment, right, guys? So, perfect little filler for the yard. Evergreen and just as pretty as can be. So, what I want to show you now is how to maintain these, because a lot of people are doing it incorrectly, and I think that's where we get this I hate juniper mentality. But once you know how to do it, and if you're doing it at the right time of year, pretty easy, doesn't take a lot of time. We're going to show you how to do that now.